Howdy fam. Beautiful sunny day where I am. I think it's hiding behind the clouds right now. About to come out. Come on, rays. Anyways. Man, checking the timer this time. I was just recording, or so I thought, for several minutes until I realized, wow, I'm not actually recording. So I'm talking to myself out here. Hey, nothing wrong with that, right? We're all talking to ourselves in our heads. Most of us. Although, there's that space of pure awareness, inner silence, where you're simply reflecting. The birds in the background, the sound. There's no inner noise or motion. Because really, all of reality is manifestation of what's within you. Obviously, right? I may appear to be on your phone screen right now, but actually, it's within you. The light's falling down upon the phone, reflected into your retina, your eyes, and what you're seeing outside of you, all of it's actually within you. It's kind of what I want to talk about, too. On the way here, I was thinking, I brought the phone with me intentionally to make a video. I haven't done a walking video in a minute. It's a different vibe. So, also, I'm out here, I was thinking a bunch of different things. Kind of like what I want to talk about. A lot of videos are just kind of not planned at all. So this one I kind of, planned a little. And I was thinking on the way here what I want to say. But anyway, one of the things I was thinking about is how I have my shirt off, soaking up the rays. And how I used to be insecure about the collarbone showing. Now, hitting gym consistently, nearly every day. Even less than a year ago. Definitely bulked up. Definitely a lot more muscle on me. But now I'm fasting consistently and a lot more skinny. Anyways, not to make it about me, but, I was thinking how I used to heavily psychologically identify with the body. And how I used to be insecure about this collarbone showing. And I'm out here and I'm thinking, wow, I'm about to make a video with the shirt off. And I'll say something about it. Because I think it's my first shirtless video. Not to call attention to it, but anybody's watching it, obviously, dude shirtless. But, I kind of pick on myself a little bit because I used to be insecure about this. But now it's like, wow. I reflect back on it and just think it's very funny. Anyways, I was also thinking on the way here, some questions, some self-inquiry, some self-reflective questions, some contemplation. We could say some psychological meditation, which is distinct from real meditation, which is really no thoughts. Now, if you think about thoughts, that's one of the peculiar things about being a human, right? We can think about thoughts. And we can do that unceasingly. Self-consciousness, man. It's it's a blessing. It's a great blessing. But realistically, we can see that it's a curse for many as well. It doesn't have to be. There's no problem. The mind's not a problem. The body's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with the body. There's nothing wrong with the mind. It's all right. It's not just all right. It's great. We don't want to confuse our psychological drama with, reality, right? But this is not a philosophical discourse on reality, although I guess it can be, depending on the viewer, how you look at it. Because really, all of reality is a manifestation of what's within you. Now, I'm looking up here at the time. I'm just making sure I'm recording because, I feel the flow. And, I was just recording a few few minutes ago, or so I thought, and then I looked up and I'm like, wow, I'm not actually recording, so redirecting the intention, just making sure I'm actually recording this time. But anyways, what was I just talking about? Self-consciousness, man. Now, that word in particular is something I want to shed light upon. And actually, kind of ironically, when we think of consciousness, we want to think in terms of light, because that word in particular can stimulate a lot of different meanings and associations in people's brains. It could be seen as a buzzword. It's overused, abused, especially nowadays. A lot of buzzwords. But we don't want to get it confused. We can think of it in terms of light. In last video, I used the term level of consciousness. Now, that doesn't apply a hierarchy, because everything is one consciousness. There's that same fundamental oneness. And again, this is not a philosophical discourse on unity, although I guess it can be, because as the light within me is expressing, it's actually, like I just said, all of reality's manifestation of what's within you. I may appear to be on your phone screen, but actually, it's the light from the sun behind the clouds right now, about to come out, is falling down upon me so you can see, and it's reflected back to you, into your retina, into your eyes, and actually, it's happening within you. All that you see around you. There's thus no separation. Howdy. And, I was thinking on the way here, I'm like, what can I use as an analogy, as an example to illustrate this, to convey it conceptually in a way that makes sense. And I was thinking about an auditorium. Now picture this. Say there's an auditorium full of people, and across the ceiling there's a bunch of lights strewn across. And there's only one light on. Very dim. And you can only see 5 people. Let's say we turn 5 lights on. Turn up the voltage a little bit. Turn up the level of consciousness, right? And you see 25 people. Wow. I didn't know they were there before because of my experience. I only saw the 5 people based on my voltage. And now that I turned it up a little bit, wow, I see more. I see more of reality, right? More light. And crank up the voltage a little bit more. Wow, I see 50 people. Holy cow. There's that many people in this room? There's a lot of life in this room, man. Wow. Then you turn up a little bit more. Wow, 100 people. This is 100%, right? But no, there's more. Wait, there's more, right? There's always that catch. Cliffhanger at the end of the commercials. They try to get you, man. Wait, there's more. But there is. Seriously. It's limitless. And turn up the voltage a little more. Wow. I see the whole damn auditorium. This whole place is full of life. It's booming, baby. And the truth is, it is. That's reality, man. That's consciousness. It's limitless. It's full of life. And depending on the light on top of the ceiling, right? How many are turned on, how high the voltage is, that can, we could say equate to one's level of consciousness. I was thinking about a question on the way here, a little bit of self-inquiry. What is the nature of life? I think that's a great question we can all reflect upon. What is the nature of life? And it's not just intellectual, right? Because that's a very deep question. Profoundly deep question. Now, I said in the last video something about enlightenment, about how it's not confusing reality with perception. Of course, we all have that perceptive faculty, the intellectual faculty. But when our intelligence is functioning properly, we will naturally want to conduct ourselves in a way where we can perceive the world more profoundly. And I'm not just talking about intellectually, because like consciousness, you say limitless, right? Same with perception. There's 360 degrees to every perspective. There's infinite viewpoints, infinite ways of looking at the world. And that's having an open mind. Seeing that there's no right or wrong way, to not get polarized either which way, but to understand that the nature of life is spectrums, and that there's, we could say there's infinite dimensions. So not to get hung up on our particular way of viewing the world and thinking that's reality and I'm right and I know this and this is the way it is. And how's it going, brother?
Good, how are you?
Solid. Solid, because I'm embodying the hike energy in the body, right? I always think about that. That's kind of like an automatic reaction. People ask me how I'm doing, say solid, and then I'm like, solid, I just think in terms of the body, right? I'm solid, I'm physical, but, we all have that aspect of physicality. We don't want to deny it. Like I said, nothing wrong with the body. Nothing wrong with the mind. With both of them, we can have a hell of a time, man, right? They're essentially one and the same process. The body is actually not a thing. You could say thing is a thought, right? But it's really a process, right? It's like all that's around us, consciousness. It's a ongoing process, limitless process. I was thinking about this earlier too, man. Having a conversation with somebody, and they might actually watch this, so I'm gonna be careful what I say. Don't want to give anything away. People take stuff personally, So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna leave that one, actually. But I was thinking, I was like, I really don't belong to anybody, and nobody belongs to me, because really, we're all gonna leave this world eventually, right? This 5-sensory experience, this 3-dimensional experience, to which we could say the one in the world has access. In the Bible, it says, he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. Now, who's the one in the world? Of course, we can give it. That's very vague, right? It, the word it. Bunch of labels and names. But not trying to stimulate any negative associations. This is a very positive channel. But it's all an integrated, complete, whole, loving, alive process that we can call consciousness. It's an ongoing process. And there is always that constant within us. So whatever emotions we may be witnessing, right? It's happening. It's thoughts are simply occurring. They're not my thoughts. They're coming and going. So they can't be me, right? Because that which I am is permanent. It's the constant. Stupid flies. I tell you, they often get in the eyes. That's why. Get out of here, fly. I'm not the lord of them. Definitely not the Lord of Flies. Help you relinquish control, you know what I mean? Because I think that's, at least in my experience, that was something I had a hard time overcoming, was relinquishing control, trying to control everything around me. And it's like, hey, wow, all of reality is a manifestation of what's within me. So what I'm really trying to control is myself. Why don't I just let go and let it decide? Let it happen. Let it do its thing, rather than trying to control it. Surrender to the process. Wow. That which I witness. Sense of profoundness. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Let go. You know? And of course, we can get right back to it. We can be in the flow. We can go in and out. Up and down. All around. I don't even know how. Let go of the how. That's part of surrender. No. The heart knows. The mind overthinks. And some of us have a tendency to overthink. Even in those who are adept, who are constantly in that space of inner silence and serenity, we all have that element of personality. And sometimes, thoughts may come up. It's like, wow, that's definitely not me. And you can just laugh at them, right? The thoughts aren't me. Kind of like what I was just saying, they're in and out, up and down, all around. But what is that constant, man? And that's, it's important to kind of have self-control, right? I was also thinking on the way here, I was thinking, what makes a man? A man. Discipline. And that word is linked to the word disciple. Discipline, disciple. And, that's very relevant, especially nowadays, in the modern world, where, we have instant access to so much pleasure. We can get food delivered right to our doorstep, go on our phone. Wow, 20 minutes later, I got a meal. I didn't even have to leave the house. And, that's great. But there's always the opposite side of things. There's pros and cons. Not that we need to get polarized in either which direction. We can remain neutral. That's really the best stance to interact with the world from. A neutral stance, neutral position. Not getting swayed either which way. Kind of detached in a sense, but also, you understand that it's all a reflection of the same consciousness that you are. So obviously there's that sense of love for life that you have for yourself, your existence. Naturally, that's reflected in everything else. Wow.